For many years now, our congregation has shared in the bread communion, and with the children leading the way by baking and sharing bread, it often touches our heart in many tender places. The sacred ceremony symbolizes a number of important things. First of all, children are at a central sacred spot in our hearts and in our community. And the baking and sharing of bread cannot be overstated in how important those acts are for us. Bread is something that there are many different kinds of around the world. Almost every tradition and culture has their own form or shape. But what is also true is almost every community in the world has people that do not have enough bread, do not have enough food. So sharing bread on Thanksgiving Sunday shows that everybody is worth feeding. We have a common interest in making sure there's bread for all, not only for our children and for our gathered community, but bread for the world. And what can be more sacred than that? Bread for the world. Our spiritual theme of the month is service. I know of a nursery school that teaches about service, and during treat time, when the children are allowed to have a cookie, the children are instructed to break their cookie in half and share half of it with the child to the right, and then receive half a cookie from the kid on the left. So everybody's giving and receiving. And I think our bread communion is sort of designed along the same lines. Our children make and share the bread with the entire gathered community, and everybody, including the children, receive a piece of bread, and all are invited to bless and partake. Of course, there are always the feelings of ambivalence around the history of Thanksgiving. It's not always been a tradition that has involved everybody coming into the fold of giving and receiving. So this time of year, we mourn the fact that many Native Americans were devastated by European diseases, their lands were seized or purchased on the cheap, and many were subjected to genocidal warfare. That's part of our history. And that being said, it's also true we live in a complex world. It's also true the Puritans were in search of their own religious freedom, and they created a model where many others after them could do the same. For this we are grateful. And we also recognize not only is Thanksgiving America's most popular non-religious holiday, it's also the most sacred American non-religious holiday. And we often call it the American Seder, with meaning and heart. So even though the holiday represents a history of brutalities, it also represents some of the best things which unite all Americans, including giving heartfelt thanks for the blessings that are in our lives and making contributions to the well-being of others. I think it's really important on this day to raise up in our mind's eye those personal role models. We have people who made the world a better place. Who was it? Think of somebody right now. Lift up somebody from your childhood or some point that you look to as a role model of helping. My father has two siblings who both went into medicine. My Aunt Buena is a nurse. My Uncle Bob was a doctor. He's passed away. Over the course of their lives for decades, they helped people through medicine, but specifically together, they spent over 6 years in some of the poorest United States Indian reservations and in shanty towns of Haiti, helping and healing brothers and sisters in the human family. Who do you want to lift up in your memory right now someone who taught you about being grateful for blessings and giving back to life. We come to church for many reasons, and one of them is that I think that we want more in our lives. We crave more than whatever the role models are that we were dealt by the playing cards of life in our family or our neighborhoods. So in our beloved community, we have endless inspirational examples of people using their body, minds, and spirits to help fellow human beings in Mother Earth. They do it in part as a fulfillment of our covenant of membership, in which every person commits to service to the church and the wider community beyond our walls. Here, every member of the tribe contributes to the whole. People don't serve in order to pass some kind of a test, but it's also true that by their efforts, we observe their character. So many people give with a happy heart, and today we really want to take a moment to acknowledge those folks. And so now I introduce our magnificent chairperson of our welcoming community team, Jenn Leiby. Our welcoming community helps people feel welcomed and integrate into the membership of the life of the community.
Good morning. As chair of the Welcoming Community Team, I can tell you that it is an honor for our wonderful group to encourage and celebrate the many vibrant and inspirational ways in which our members serve USG and the wider world. There are a great many teams and events that require a lot of people power to happen. When we call a group with which you serve, please stand so we may thank you, and then sit for the next group. The Adult Spiritual Development Team creates opportunities for people to connect, learn, and grow spiritually. The Aesthetics Group is working to make our church attractive and welcoming. The Board of Directors ensures we run our organization properly and work together in order to go in the direction they help us to set. Is anyone here from those groups?
You stand up when your
Stand
group
up, we want to
set.
see you.
Right.
Thank you. It's awesome. Thank you.
No, clap later. We're going to clap later.
The Building and Grounds Group are people very dedicated to ensuring that our building and grounds are cared for and sound, comfortable and helpful for us to live out the purpose of our church. Thank you. Hold your applause. I know we want to clap for everybody, but we'll have a chance to do that at the end. The Caring Committee coordinate community members and ministers to help for those going through difficult times. If you are here, we thank you. The Child Spiritual Development Group guides our children in celebrating life, learning, growing in spirit, connecting with others, and helping make the world a better place. Anyone here from CSD? No? You're all out working with CSD, right? There's Jess. I know, Jess. The choir, I know you're here, brings us beautiful and meaningful music, and we thank you. Citizens United Against Mass Incarceration works to end the prison industrial complex and heal the wounds in our nation. Thank you. The Committee on Ministry works with the congregation and ministers to ensure church well-being and right relations. We thank you. Thank you. Diwali is a beautiful celebration of the Indian Festival of Light, which is a gift to us from Andrea Durham and her family. The Earth Honoring Traditions, they lead year-long calendar of spiritually enriching Earth-focused celebrations, and we thank you. Thank you. The Ending Racism Group works tirelessly to create a true beloved community in our church and the neighborhood. Rise, rise, and we thank you. The Fellowship Hour team coordinates hosts with drink and food to make sure the community feels cared for. The Finance, and we thank you. Thank you, Alice. The Finance Council takes care of our financial resources and bottom line. We thank you. The Flowers and Greens group beautifies our sanctuary for Sundays and the Christmas season. And we thank you. The Food Cupboard helps all of us to help those in our city fighting hunger. And we thank you. The Governance Task Force supports structures to allow our church most clarity, efficiency, and joy in our work. And we thank you. Thank you. The Lingelbach Tutor lovingly supports students at our local elementary school. We thank you. Thank you. The Martin Luther King Day of Service group organizes hundreds of volunteers to make the third Monday in January a powerful and effective day of service in our city. Thank you. The men's group brings together the men of our community in fellowship, conversation, and fun.
Man.
Thank you.
Man.
The ministry executive team are the overseers of the operations of our church, the steerers of this boat. Thank you. The Master Plan Implementation Committee envisions and ensures our buildings meet our future needs. And we thank you. The music ministry ensures many beautiful gifts of instrumental and vocal music. And we thank you. The office volunteers work ceaselessly behind the scenes, helping paid staff in the office. Any office volunteers here? Yes, thank you. The Personnel Committee ensures our community engages our staff with clarity, fair pay, and benefits. The Philadelphia Interfaith Hospitality Network organizes food, housing, and fellowship for homeless families at area religious communities, and we thank you. The Program and Events Council are the overseers of many of the most important activities which help us grow and make the world a better place, and we thank you. The Public Education Initiative brings justice, joy, and effectiveness to Philadelphia schools. Rebuilding Philly coordinates help to folks who need and deserve support in repairing homes to safety and comfort, and we thank you. The Service Auction organizes our annual, very fun fundraising gala event, creating opportunities for us to connect with each other and enjoy Philadelphia life all year long. And we thank you. Share the Plate helps us to build relationships and supports organizations beyond our church walls. Thank you. The Small Group Ministry brings people together in circles of trust, creating space for spiritual growth and interpersonal connection. And we thank you. Sound and audiovisual allows us to see and hear everything happening in worship. They have worked so hard with Building and Grounds to set up our fabulous screen. And we thank you. Stand up. The staff gets things done, and we thank them. Stewardship facilitates the spiritual practice of financial generosity so we can run our church well, and we thank you. The tour guides show visitors our beautiful historic building. We thank you. The transformation team guides and advises our congregation on ways of being more welcoming and multicultural, and we thank you. The ushers welcome and orient all people coming into our sanctuary, and we thank you. Thank you. Wonderful. The Urban Mystics Band provides us with heartfelt music on Sundays, and we thank you, Jay. The welcoming community team welcomes visitors and brings them to membership in the church. The worship arts and worship associates envision and create worship with beauty, comfort, challenge, and meaning. And we thank you. The young adults bring young adults together for connection, fun, and growth. If you have ever provided a meal or a ride with the caring committee, hosted fellowship hour, slept over or shared a meal with the PIHN families, added a mitten or hat to the tree on Christmas Eve, gave time and talents to Rebuilding Philly or MLK Day of Service, volunteered with the kids during Sunday school, provided an event to the auction, or served in any one of the other ways this church provides, please stand. Yeah. Stay up, stay up, stay up. If you stay up, stay up. If you stood earlier in this service, please stand. Wow. What a sea of service. This is so great. This warms the heart. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
We want to thank McKinley Sims, our student minister, who put together the service, the slideshow, and Gloria and others. And okay, so there are 188 names on the board of people we could find. We absolutely know that it's not a complete list. Some of the people on the list, many of the people on the list have their names down for 2 or 3 committees or teams that they're on, and there are a number of folks who are on 4 or 5. So I'm not telling you how to feel, because that would just be really not a very good minister, would it, if I told you how to feel. But I'm telling you, I feel proud and grateful of the vibrancy of this church community, and I just want you to, as we give thanks this Thanksgiving season, please think about that, of the blessings of this community and how we connect with so many others.